history happened right at that very spot. It was unbelievable.
Wow. And I mean, as a new Catholic, I guess, since 2019, you've met 2 popes already.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, Pope Francis, and then he keeled over.
Yeah, I know, poor Pope Francis. Yeah. No, it's when I met Pope Francis, he was very frail, but I didn't realize he was that sick.
No.
And we had, whenever you go and you do these diplomatic missions, and there's always some element of protocol and formality to it. But I remember I talked to the
can we look at his face in this?
Yeah. No.
Look at his face. Okay, first of all, I never knew that JD Vance was just a new Christian. He was a new Christian as of 2019. Like, this is my problem. You guys are following someone who is new to a religion, who knows really probably nothing about the religion, and grifted off the religion and tried to become a Christian to grift off of Christian values and gain sympathy votes. Okay? So for this man to sit here and talk about Pope Francis, who healed over, and have this look of reminisce on his face, you know how everyone always, alleged at the time that JD Vance was the death angel and brought death to Pope Francis? It's funny because he has this face on like he's reminiscing about a time that he did something that he loved, like killing the Pope. It's crazy to me. So I personally didn't know that JD Vance was a new Christian. I always thought that he was just Christian. He grew up Catholic or something, but no, apparently he was atheist or agnostic prior to his, conversion to Christianity. And I just find it funny how, ironically, in 2019, he converted to Christianity when it served a purpose for him to be elected as vice president of the United States. Do you guys not see the timeline of events and how this adds up to a manipulation and a perversion of your Christian religion, that you're listening and following people that actually don't know the religion and is newly Christian, and in 2019 just, it's let me be Christian? I don't believe it. There's something fishy. There's something there's chunks in the milk here. Something's not right. And I want to also talk about this portion with Steve Bannon, because not only is JD Vance a new Christian, right? Steve Bannon comes into this interview and says this.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28. And people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He's not churchy. He's not churchy. He's not particularly religious. Trump. This is Steve Bannon saying that Donald Trump, the shit stain of America, is not particularly religious, and he's not churchy, but he ran on Christian values and loving the Bible and loving God, but he's not religious or churchy. This whole administration bamboozled the Christian faith. I'm telling you straight up. Not only is JD Vance a new Christian who probably knows nothing about Christianity and converted to Christianity out of the fact that it would get him votes and an opportunity to serve in the White House, but Steve Bannon is sitting here saying straight up, Donald Trump is not churchy, Donald Trump is not religious, we're just using him because he's a vehicle for MAGA, who is not a Christian, well, I don't want to say they're not a Christian, but they use Christianity as a vehicle to get votes. It's deceptive. It's very deceptive. So, again, you have all these people coming out and blatantly saying that they don't follow the Christian religion, but you voted for them because they followed the Christian religion. Isn't that insanity? You voted for these people that don't follow your religion and used it as a crutch to gain power. And it's written in facts. with Steve Bannon saying it. It's written, in fact, with J.D. Vance converting to Christianity in 2019, which the timeline correlates with him getting the opportunity to run alongside, potentially Donald Trump. It's all the writing on the walls. These people don't give two fucks about your religion. They don't. What they give a fuck about is greed and power and grifting off your religion to succeed in that greed and power and take over America. And once they have that power, you think they're going to care about your religion, your Bible? No, they're not going to follow it. They're going to manipulate it and pervert it into sections and into law in the United States that restricts minority groups of people, that destroys civil rights. That's what they're going to do. And they're not going to allow you to have your Christianity, your faith in your book. It's going to be a new form of Christianity where you have to kneel and heel and bow down to what is to come. And that is this new implementation of a dictatorship of America. It was never about Christian values. It was about power, and it was about greed, and it was about control. And they used your Christian religion to manipulate it.